my name's Fiona. Hello, my name's Fiona, and today I'm going to show you how to make a little hanging plant holder. It's really simple. It doesn't use an awful lot of yarn for making like a little small one like this, but you could adapt the pattern to make it for a bigger pot, and you could also change the colours in the yarn, like make it two-tone or whatever if you wanted by just adding in different colours, but for simplicity I am just showing you a really easy small version. Okay, we're going to begin by making a magic ring. So if you wrap the yarn around your hook to make an X on your fingers, and then put the hook under the bottom strand, catch the top strand, bring it through and twist it so there's a loop, and then catch the top strand again and pull it through that loop on the hook, and that gives you your magic ring or your magic circle plus a slip knot. So then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to put a pattern of stitches into the magic circle. So we do 3 treble crochets, and treble crochet is just yarn over, put the hook through the magic circle, yarn over again, bring it up, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and take the first 2 loops off, yarn over and take the next 2 loops off. So we do 3 of those, and then we chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we just repeat that pattern. So 3 double crochet or 3 treble crochets, 3 chains, and we do that 5 times until we come back round and join it to our first stitch. Okay, when you've completed that round, you should have a bit of a star shape with these treble crochet clusters of 3 stitches and then this space in between. So this last stitch was the 3 chains, and we're going to join it into the first stitch in the round, which is the top of the first treble crochet cluster. So there are 2 chains that we made after we'd finished the magic circle, but they're not the row 1. Row 1 begins at the top of the first cluster. So to slip stitch in there, we put our hook through, we yarn over, and we bring it up, back out, pulling up a loop, and then we pull that new loop through the loop on the hook. Okay, and then we chain 1, and there's 3 stitches in each of these clusters, so we ignore this first stitch that we slip stitched into, and into the second treble crochet we're going to do a half treble crochet, which is yarn over, you put your hook through the stitch, pull up a loop, then you yarn over and you take all 3 loops off the hook, all in one go. Okay, we're going to skip the next stitch, which is the 3rd treble crochet in that cluster, and we are going to do 3 treble crochets into this first chain space. So you do 3 treble crochets. This is going to be the pattern that we're following in this round. 3 treble crochets and then 3 chains, and then another 3 treble crochets, all again into this same chain space, so it gets a bit crowded. But you just have to keep a track of your pattern. So now we're on to the second 3 treble crochet cluster. So we ignore the first stitch, we skip it. Into the middle one we do our half treble crochet, where we take all 3 loops off at once. Then we skip the third one, and into the chain space we do 3 full treble crochets, 3 chains, and another 3 treble crochets, and you just repeat that all the way around until we get back to the beginning of this row, back to the beginning of row 2. To finish round 2 then, we slip stitch back into the first half treble crochet. So you just put your hook in, yarn over and pull right through, and then we're going to half treble crochet again into that stitch. Then we skip the, having some technical difficulties. We skip the next 2 stitches, right, ignore the chains, we skip these 2 stitches, the first 2 in the first cluster, and we're going to treble crochet into the third stitch of the cluster, and then we work the 3 treble crochets, 3 chains, and another 3 chains, another 3 treble crochets into the chain space. So this is like we did in the round below, the same cluster and chain pattern in the chain space. So 3 treble crochets, 3 chains, and another 3 treble crochets, all into the one chain space. Okay, and then we do a treble crochet into the next stitch. We skip the next 2 and we do a half treble into the top of the half treble below. I suppose it's good to keep your work quite loose. I'm pulling mine a bit tight, but as we are not doing any chains, then we need the stitches need to have a bit of stretch in them. So skip the next 2 treble crochets in the cluster below and do a treble crochet in the third one. And then we're back to the chain space, so we do 3 treble crochets, 3 chains, 3 treble crochets, and we continue this pattern all the way around. In fact, I'm going to mark, I have not been marking my first stitch, but I'm going to put a safety pin there in the first stitch of the round, so it will be, I'll be sure I know where I'm coming back to. Right, so the end of row 3, we again slip stitch back into the first half treble crochet. We chain 1, and now instead of the half treble crochet we're just going to change to using the double crochet. So we double crochet in the same stitch. I've picked up an extra thread. Okay, now we skip the these next stitches until we get to these 2, the 2 treble crochets in the cluster before the chain space, and we are going to do a treble crochet into each of those. And then we work the same 3 treble crochets, 3 chains in the chain space, and again at the other side of that we are going to work the 2 stitches beside that. Okay, so we put 2 treble crochets in the 2 treble crochets closest to the chain space in the cluster below, and again these 2 treble crochets beside the chain space we put 2 treble crochets in. And then we're going to skip over until we get to the half treble crochet, and we're just going to, this time we're using the double crochet stitch, we're going to put a double crochet in there. And again skip over until you get the 2 treble crochets beside the chain space and work the same pattern. 2 treble crochets, then in the chain space 3 treble crochets, 3 chains, 3 treble crochets, and then work your 2 treble crochets and the 2 trebles on the other side, and all the way around until, where am I? I haven't put my stitch marker in, so all the way around until we get back to that first double crochet. At the end of row 4 we slip stitch back into the first double crochet, and you'll see our pot holder is curling up at the sides, is taking shape. So we're going to chain 1 and then we're going to put a double crochet into that first space, and we're going to double crochet all the way up to the chain space. Just work double crochets into each stitch, and this is the point where we're going to add the hanging parts for our plant holder. So when we get to the chain space, do another double crochet into it, and then we chain 37 chains. Okay, so to strengthen this chain, this work, we're going to crochet back down the length of it. So skip the first stitch beside the hook, and then into the second one we're going to do a double crochet, but we're going to include the ring. So if you put the hook through and then the hook through the ring, yarn over, bring it back out through your stitch, yarn over again, and take it off, and then just work all the way back down the chain doing double crochets. So this will sort of strengthen up the hanger by having 2 rows of stitches along the length of it. So just work all the way back down. Okay, the second hanger we work the same as the first. We skip the first chain and we're going to work a double crochet into the second and include the ring for the hanger. So you put your hook through the stitch and then you put the hook through the ring and you yarn over and bring it back out through the stitch again, through the ring, yarn over and take both the loops off, and then again we just continue our double crochets into each chain space all the way back down the chain, and try, easier said than done, but try not to twist your work so that they'll all hang straight without there being twists in it. maybe it won't matter terribly, but so when you get back down, remember to put another double crochet in the chain space and then double crochets all the way along to your next chain space, and we just keep repeating until we get back round to our stitch marker for the where the row began. Right at the end of row 5, then you won't have to do a full 11 stitches because you're only going back halfway to get to that final double crochet. So we slip stitch into it then, and then we can cut and tie off our work. So if you just leave a bit of a tail that you can weave in, and then the tie off, if we just wrap the yarn around the hook and pull it completely through, and that just sort of knots it. And then all you have to do is weave in that end tail, and you can pull the magic circle in tighter if you want, and then weave in the starter tail to make sure that's nice and secure and doesn't unfurl. And then I have twisted my hanger slightly, I think, but that's us finished. Right, just a note that I mentioned at the start of the introduction to the video that you could change the size of this plant hanger if you had a larger pot. So you remember we were creating the star, and before it began to curl up, we have been doing the clusters with 3 treble crochets in the chain, 3 more treble crochets. We've been doing like a cluster in row 3, and in between the clusters there was a treble crochet, or sorry, half treble crochet. So we've been doing these with a half treble crochets as the spacing bit round. And if you have a larger pot, you can just continue doing row 3, like more row 3s, until the star covers the base of your pot. And then you want to bring it up the sides of the pot, so you start doing row 4, and the row 4 is when the half treble crochet is replaced by just a double crochet, and that kind of tightens it in, and that's why it begins to curl up. So you would just do your row 4, and then if you want it to come up about, you know, 2/3 of the way up your pot. So just keep doing row 4 and another row 4 until these grow, you know, and become a bit taller. And then you can do the row 5, which is the one where we add on the hangers, and you can just, instead of doing 37 chains for your hangers, you can just make longer hangers. So you're really customizing it around the pot you want to make the hanger off, and it will just all depend how big that pot is and where you want it to hang, how long the hanger you want it to be. But you can very simply just adapt those rows, add in as many row 3s as you need, then move on to your row 4, add in as many row 4s as you need to bring it up to 2/3 way up your pot, and then add in your row 5, making the chains as long as you need to make them, so that it suits your pot. And that's it. It can be customized quite simply. It'll take more yarn, and depending if you use smaller hooks, bigger hooks, you know, you might have to, you know, you might have to do more, or if it's bigger yarn you might have to do less. Maybe if you use bigger yarn and a bigger hook, the pattern will be that much stretchier and will accommodate a slightly larger pot. So it's a bit of playing around with it to see what you need. But I hope this has been useful, and I hope you enjoy trying to make one, because they're really cute. Okay, take care, bye.